It's got mobility, it's got evasion, it's got power, and it has got style in spades. It also happens to have 3 of the coolest hunting arts in this entire game. While it fell out of grace in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, I can tell you in Monster Hunter Cross it is back. Welcome to my guide on the longsword. Okay, like the other weapons, all the other styles derive from the guild styles, so we're going to take an in-depth look at that one first. Now while the longsword doesn't have that many attacks, it's really how you put them together and how you position yourself that really makes the weapon. Let's go over the few that you do have. Now X while idle or your draw attack will do this nice forward moving downward slash. If you notice, it does move you forward quite a bit, so it's good for closing distances, and you can follow it up with one more X to do another downward slash. Now the second downward slash doesn't move you at all, so you can do this sort of like a combo. If you press A while idle, it'll do this nifty little poke. Now the poke doesn't do a lot of damage, but it is very fast, it hits in a very specific spot, so it's good for trying to trip enemies or for tying them together into combos. From the poke, if you press X, you'll do an upward swing, and this is another combo move, so it's really fast, doesn't do a lot of damage, but it is good for tying together moves and for getting in lots of hits. Also, if you do an evade and press the X button, you'll do that upward slice as well. Now let's finish off this A button combo. If we do the A, X, and X one more time, we'll do that second downward strike. If you notice, this combo doesn't move you at all, so it is pretty convenient if you know you don't want to move. From there, you can continue on with the poke, because the poke can be done just about after anything, and just keep the combo going. As long as you like. Okay, the move that really ties these together is the Fade Slash. Press X and A at the same time and your character will hop backwards in kind of an evasive attack maneuver, striking the enemy as they move away. Now while this does look like an evasive maneuver, it does not have any invincibility frames and is not affected by any armor skills that grant you invincibility when you're evading. Now, when you do it default, X and A, it will do a backwards hop, but if you hold left on the circle pad, which is much easier if you're inside of a combo, you can do a left evade. You do move quite a bit of distance, so it's really great for getting out of the way and hitting the monster at the same time. Similarly, you can do a right side one as well. Now, a little unused but a little interesting little tip here is that if you press the special icon on your touchpad, it will swing you over and do a right Fade Slash. Now if you haven't played Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, then you don't know about the new move which they've added in the 4th generation, which is really nice, which is this charge and attack that you can do after a Fade Slash by pressing R. Just do a Fade Slash and hit R and your character will run in and do a really cool looking swipe. You can do this after any Fade Slash, left and right, and so forth. Now your moves afterwards is pretty limited because the Fade Slash is really for the Spirit combo, which we'll be covering in just a moment. But you do have a choice. You can hit the X button to do an upward slash here. So hit R, then X, and it does an upward slash. Now that upward slash does not connect in with any other moves, it is the end of the combo. So all you can do from there is either evade, or you can do another Fade Slash. Fade Slashes can be done after anything, so after the first X attack, after a poke, after the upward strike, and you can do them after after anything. So use them as you need to move around the enemy and just keep up your attack. Now you do get a jump attack. Let's take a quick look at that. Here we go. It's just a standard downward chop. And now for the most important part of this weapon called the Spirit Gauge. If you look at the upper left hand corner of the screen above my name, you'll see a gauge. This thing will go up as you hit monsters. Let's see here. Now it does deplete rather fast. Watch how fast this thing goes down. As long as you have energy in there, however, you can press the R button to do a spirit attack. There are 4 spirits attacks and they all go together as a combo, so you will need almost a full gauge in order to pull off the entire combo. That being said, if you can land the very final hit of it, which is a round slash, against a monster, it will level up your gauge. Let's see what that looks like first and then we'll go over it. Now if you do max out your gauge when you're attacking, it will start to blink. When that happens, you get 13% more attack power for the next 30 seconds, and you don't have to worry about the gradual depletion, so you can look more for an opening. 13% attack power is really big. Now you can draw into Spirit Attack 1 by hitting R, X, and A. It's a popular way to look for an opening, then go for it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. As long as you connect with that fourth one, you notice our gauge leveled up. Zinogre, stop being a punk. Okay, so if it's white, you get 5% more attack. If we level it up one more time, we'll go up to 10%, which is yellow, and then one more time we go up to red gauge, which is 20% attack power for an entire 2 minutes. Now if you hit the round slash again while you're in red, it will restore the entire countdown, and if you miss it, it only goes back to yellow, so as long as you hit it again, you're back up to red. Okay, so now I'm using an art that gives me maximum gauge so I can show you off each move separately. Okay, press R1 to do Spirit Attack 1. Press it twice to do Spirit Attack 2. Spirit Attack 3 is a 3-hit combo here, but you only need to press X once. And then press it one more time to do the final round slash. Now if you're almost if you don't quite have a full gauge and you want to be able to sneak in the last bit amount of juice that you need to do the combo, there are 2 opportunities where you can sneak in normal attacks. After 1, press X to do a jab. After 2, press X to do an upper swipe, and then you can go into 3 and 4. You'd be surprised how much that little extra bit of juice helps. Also, you can go right into Spirit Attack 1 by pressing R, X, and A at the same time. It is a very popular way to go straight into the combo. Now you may be asking yourself, having to have a full gauge is a real pain. That's a lot of work. Well, luckily they did add a way that you can do it faster. Now if you remember, when we hit the Fade Slash, there's the R button attack you can do that's a charge and attack. It only had a value of 18. However, if you do it with Spirit Energy, it gets a value of 30 because it is a Spirit attack. Let's see it here. Hit R, and it goes right into Spirit 3. So it's a way to bypass both Spirit 1 and Spirit 2 and go straight to a 3-hit combo. Okay, there's only one more attack we're missing to show off, which is the Jumping Spirit Slash. Now if you're under white gauge, all it does is a single attack, which we'll show off here even though we don't have gauge. And from there you can go into Spirit 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now we're at white. Let's make sure we have a little bit of energy. Okay. Now check this out. Just hit R once. You'll do that and you go right into 3. Okay, let's take a quick look at Striker Style. Now with Striker Style, you still have all your normal moves. You have your downward X, you have all those, you have the A poke, you have the combos, you have your Fade Slash. However, there are 2 major things that are missing. First one is your left or right Fade Slash, so there's no way you can move out of the way to left or right and do a Fade Slash, just the behind one. And you also lose that charge and attack by pressing R after a Fade Slash. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that is your ticket to a fast round slash, Spirit 4. So that's actually a really big deal, and not having left and right really does cut down on your mobility. Still, you get 3 arts, so when you see them at the end of this video, you might be convinced to try Striker to get them. Okay, now let's talk about Aerial Style, which also seems to be a popular choice for some players here. Now if we test out, we still have our standard combo. Nothing has been changed here whatsoever. However, we will notice that if we hit R after our Fade Slash, we do not get the cool run-in slash combo. So that is going to make it a lot harder to do Spirit combos. But you know what? It's okay, because if you hit R to do a Spirit move, you don't do them. You can only initiate Spirit 1 from the air. You cannot initiate it from the ground. Okay, now the jump attacks are nice. You do get 26 motion on those, which is good. And getting to white gauge is the hardest thing to do. Once you do this, you do Spirit 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Now the game becomes much easier. Now with white, all you have to do when you do an aerial attack is you go straight into Spirit 3, which means one more hit, wham, that is Spirit 4 right there. It's very similar to Bushido, which we'll get to after this, but only 2 moves to get to that leveling up mechanic means that you can be doing maximum damage for a long time. And finally, everyone's favorite style for longsword, the Bushido Style. This has to be hands down one of the best Bushido styles in the game. Now all your normal attacks are still there in attack. The only thing that you're missing here is your backwards Fade Slash. If you press X and A just by default, or if you put left input, you'll do a left one. Now you can tap this special button on the touch screen, or from a combo you can do the right fade slash, but there's no running away because for Bushido they want you up and in there. Now if you have a full spirit gauge, you can do your 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. You do not get a fourth spirit attack, which means you cannot raise your spirit gauge using this combo. Which is great because this combo now is meant for doing out a lot of damage. For after a Bushido evade, press the X button to do a new attack here, and then press R and you'll do this 2-hit attack. That last hit attack, even though it's very fast, is what levels up your gauge. Now please note, if you have no spirit gauge at all, you will not be able to do that final attack. All you'll be able to do is the X attack and you'll stop right there. So you do need a little bit of spirit in order to max out your gauge, but you don't need that much. Let's go see against Narga here. Just do an evade, go in and press X and then R, and wham. That's all you need to do to level up your gauge. Also, if you notice, it doesn't really have a wide hit radius, which means that you can level up your gauge online without having to worry about tripping everybody around you. It really is fabulous. And the damage output is unbelievable. I mean, it does 28 for the first hit and then 80 for the second one, which is really insane. With strong Bushido attacks, having your spirit gauge there so you can do lots and lots of spirit hits, which are very powerful, the Bushido style is probably the one most people are going to go to. However, don't count out Guild and Striker just yet because we haven't gone over how cool the arts are. Okay, first art is the Crescent Slash. What this is you draw almost a half circle before you do your Spirit 1 attack, and whether you hit the enemy or you don't, it does max out your entire gauge. And it stays max, which gives you 13% more power, which is nothing to laugh at. At level 1 it lasts for 30 seconds, level 2 60 seconds, and at level 3 you get to enjoy max gauge for 90 seconds. Now remember, you get a 13% attack power boost when that thing is blinking max, so that is nothing to laugh at. That's a lot of power. Second up is the Sakura Slash. Now what this is a very fancy move where you do a jump backwards and then you do a forward 2 strikes and then you have a little follow-up attack. We're not sure how powerful these follow-up attacks are quite yet, but you get 1 with level 1, 2 with level 2, and then 3 or so slashes with level 3. It does raise up your spirit gauge by 1 level just by connecting, and it looks really cool. So this is a popular art as well. And finally we have the Counter Slash. This one is really tough to use but is super powerful. So all you do is you hit it and you go into a blocking animation for only, I would say, about 1 to 1.5 seconds max. Now if you connect with an attack, you'll do the counter. If you don't, you'll completely waste the art. But if you do connect though, you get 180 motion value counter attack without the need for any stamina at all. It's instantaneous, it's powerful as all heck, and consider red is 20% more attack and blinking is 13% more. Charge all that up and you could do stuff like that. It is fun. Okay, to wrap things up, let's talk about all the styles and which one might be the one for you. Now of course, styles aren't meant to be like this one and none of the others. It has to depend on the monster, your mood, all sorts of different stuff, so use them all. Okay, we just went over the hunting arts, so now we know there is true benefit to being allowed to have 2 or 3 arts, which is where Guild and Striker shine. So the question comes, which one? Well, for me personally, not being able to move to left or right from a fade slash really limits my mobility, and I'm just not that good at the weapon playing in the old school style. Also, not being able to do that run-in attack from fade means that in order to do a spirit like 4 and in order to do a round slash to level up your gauge, you have to go all the way from the top, and that to me is a huge commitment. So Striker, even though it does get 3 arts, is definitely not for me. Guild, it does feel good. Aerial style I never really tried out too much, so I can't comment too much on it, but there are people who say that aerial longsword is a lot of fun. But for me and probably most people, Bushido style has everything we want. It's got all the good attacks, it's got a much faster and much cleaner way of getting a level up for your gauge, and it allows you to really use your spirit attacks as more of an aggressive thing. Being able to utilize those and just go ham is just really fun. Like if I was doing Bushido though, I might actually want to pair it with the Crescent one because having that increased damage and having a max gauge allows you to really increase your damage output. Anyways, if you're going online, I would highly recommend Bushido because it definitely doesn't knock around people as much. and it's just really fun. You should really try it out. To me, Bushido Longsword is like the same as Aerial Switch Axe. It was really fun, and I'm still playing it and having a blast. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you guys pick up Longsword and try it out if you have this game or if you get it. And until next time, happy hunting.